Hey guys, KangaskKid18 here, and wow, I honestly couldn't be more surprised. After hearing nothing for the first 6 months of the year, we're actually getting a new main series Pokemon game this fall. I think this has gotta be the quickest a Pokemon game has gone from being announced to released in America. That's not really the case in Japan, where Platinum was released just 3 months after it was announced, and Black and White a mere 4 months later. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's kinda par for the course over there, but it's definitely new for us. Anyway, let's take a look at the trailer real quick. We got a new main character. Kind of, or maybe just an old character in new clothes. But anyway, we also got to look at Route 1, which seems totally packed with flowers and actually looks really nice. And then there's this like Pikachu Island place because, you know, I need more Pikachu in my life, obviously. Looking at this other part, it seems like maybe there's some dens or something, like the Yungoos and Rattata dens that attack you in the first trial in Sun and Moon. So maybe this is a trial site. Anyway, then there's these Pokemon doing some crazy flips and stuff in battle, which I can only imagine is some kind of species-specific Z moves, like Pulverizing Pancake or Stoked Spark Surfer. And that brings us to this, as if Solgaleo didn't look enough like a mech. Anyway, it would appear from these jagged black bits hanging off the Pokemon that Necrozma has somehow infected Solgaleo and Lunala, and is forcing the legendaries to do its bidding. And judging by their colors, it looks as if Solgaleo is stuck in Radiant Sun phase, and Lunala is stuck in Full Moon phase. And speaking of which, wouldn't those have been better titles for this game? Radiant Sun and Full Moon? Or what about Solar Eclipse and Lunar Eclipse? Or literally anything except Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And speaking of the titles, you can see Necrozma's prism symbol inside the little sun and moon logos there. Needless to say, it looks like Necrozma is going to be a major feature of these games, and presumably that's why Zygarde was hanging around in Alola during the previous games. And then there's this bit at the end, which I've heard people say signals the return of Mega Evolution, but to me, it just looks like a different kind of Z Crystal. Maybe an Ultra Z Crystal, or something, at least that'd explain the name. But that's enough about the decidedly short trailer. Let's talk about what I want to see in these new games. Number 1, Game Freak. I don't know if you watch any of my videos. Probably not. But maybe, just maybe, there's some lowly intern whose job it is to wade through the YouTube drivel to see what people are saying about these new games. And to that person I say, hey, asshole, yeah, I'm talking to you. Tell your boss or whatever to take off the damn shiny lock. Seriously, I'm so tired of playing through a Pokemon game just to find out that I can't shiny hunt for most of the legendaries. And I'm not asking for much. Yeah, I get it. I don't need the cover legends to be shiny. I just want to get my shiny Tapus. Oh, and speaking of which, hey, asshole, yeah, you again. Tell your boss or whatever to release shiny Tapu Koko in the United States already. Please and thank you. Anyway, it wouldn't be hard to take off the shiny lock. Just make it a feature of the shiny charm. That way, only really serious hunters would have to deal with their Pokemon being shiny despite a cutscene. Which brings us to my number 2 hope, new Alolan Forms. Alolan Forms are some of my favorite parts of these games. They're like Mega Evolutions done right. Great designs, cool new type combinations, and some of them are even competitively viable. Now, since most of the Alolan Forms we saw in Sun and Moon come from Gen 1, I'd like to see Game Freak branch out and give us some forms from other generations. What about giving us, like, an Ice Electric Mareep line? Or dare I say, a Water Dragon Garchomp? Or my personal favorite, how about a Water-type Ducklet that looks kinda like a Hawaiian goose, and then it could evolve into a dark-flying Black Swanna. Now that would look dope. And my number 3 hope today, new islands to explore. There are a lot of Hawaiian islands, and only the 4 main ones have counterparts that appeared in the games. I'd like to see Game Freak give us a handful of new places to go. The Sevi Islands were one of my favorite parts of Fire Red and Leaf Green, and that extra little bit of Unova made for a really cool start to Black and White 2. It's a really simple way to inject a lot of new energy into a region that I've already played. And number 4, please, for the love of God, let me ride a bike. I hate having to press an extra button to go fast on Tauros. I just want to go fast. The Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire Mach bike was pretty much perfect. Let's just do that again. Alright, that was a short one, so number 5, read my lips. No new Ultra Beasts. I really dislike the Ultra Beasts, mostly because they look so unlike Pokemon. It just kinda jives me the wrong way. But since these new games seem to want to feature Necrozma so heavily, I find this probably the least likely entry on my list today. Game Freak seems so concerned recently with limiting the amount of Pokemon that appear in the Pokedex. So having so many spots taken up by these things that, let's face it, aren't Pokemon seems counterintuitive. But I just know it's gonna happen. Necrozma's gonna open an Ultra Wormhole and all the Ultra Beasts are just gonna start spilling out of it. I'm not looking forward to it. Unless the Ultra Beast can be shiny this go around, in which case, tiny bit looking forward to it. Anyway, guys, since this game is coming out so soon, there's probably not going to be a whole lot of information revealed about it. Or maybe there's not even a whole lot of information to reveal. In any case, I'll go into Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon with an open mind, and maybe, just maybe, I'll get some of what I want.